From Broadway and Central in Northeast Minneapolis. I'm Jim Peters, and welcome to another edition of Jim Peters at Night, episode number 163, if you're keeping track at home. And the set is gone. Yeah, yes, it is, yes. The pretty background I used to have? No more. Now, there's a reason for this. So let me tell you what's going on here. We've retooled the show. First of all, you've noticed we're starting 2 hours earlier. We're going to start at 9 p.m. Eastern from now on instead of 11. So there's that. And I got a problem here. So we spent 10 days putting all this new equipment together. But one thing, we couldn't get one of our monitors running and still can't. And so because of that, I got all this stuff crammed into one screen. And it's like it's not good. But so we got a new time. We don't have the studio background. We don't have it. Although I'm still on Rumble and stuff. Hi, how you doing? I'm not going to be addressing the camera much anymore. And here's the deal too. We're no longer taking video phone calls. Now, this was really interesting for us. Talkers Magazine said this was the very first talk show in America to ever take video phone calls from the public. And we were. And it was great for about 20 minutes. And the problem is what we finally figured out is that, well, there's two things. First of all, people found the idea of doing this confusing, and it actually wasn't. It was very easy to do. If you you could call up into the show with your webcam easier than making a FaceTime call. It was really, really simple, but people were completely unfamiliar with it. And the other thing that we noticed, and it took me about a year to figure this out, is that most of you who call in don't want to be on camera. You don't want your identity exposed. Matter of fact, we had quite a few people that would call up and essentially, for lack of a better term, mute their camera so we couldn't see them. So it was just audio. And so in February, we put in the audio phone call number, and that has been way more popular than the video calling. Matter of fact, I don't think we've had a video call now for about 4 or 5 months. I don't think we have. First year we were on, we had some. Now, hardly ever. So anyway, because of what we're doing here, and what we're doing is we've retooled the show from a video program, or basically a television show, to a radio show with a video feed, which is the reason there's no more graphics, no more graphic openings. It's all centered around the audio, and I can't tell you why we're doing this, but it's for maybe a good cause. So I will tell you hopefully in a few weeks. But yeah, so you just have to just go with us here. The other thing is the show's going to be a little shorter. We've been easing into this the last couple, about last month, and that is the interviews are going to be 35 minutes tops. So our guest tonight is Don ZORRO, intelligence operative, and one of our panelists on the Month in Review panel. And I have to be honest with you, I booked all the people booked this week are regulars because I wanted to ease into this. I got a lot of stuff going on here. Some of this is unfamiliar. I don't have either a director or an engineer. Well, now that we're basically not really addressing a camera anymore, we don't really need a director, and that's one of the reasons we're doing that. But we got massive audio processing going on, and I'm still kind of trying to figure it out, kind of, sort of. So anyway, yeah, we have Don ZORRO's tonight. Tomorrow night, Tim Conaway, former executive editor of Hustler magazine. He's also on the Month in Review panel. Wednesday night, we have our dynamic duo. That's Jeff Meyer from Conk.com and Jennifer Oliver O'Connell from RedState.com and AsTheGirlTurns.com. There are regulars here. They come on once a month. And Thursday, I'm going to have on my 100-year-old mother. Mama Peters is coming on. She turned 100 about 6 weeks ago. And so we're going to talk to her. She's still doing fine. She did finally move into an assisted living facility, but it's Luxo, and she's really happy, and she doesn't call me anymore. so I assume she's really happy. So that's what we got going on here now. All right. The text message number is not working tonight. We did not turn it on because, like I said, we're basically one monitor short here, and we got too much stuff going on, so we dropped that for tonight only. But you can still call in. The audio number is working, 563-999-3435. I'd appreciate it if you don't call in until after we're done talking to Don Zorro. So this show used to be 3 parts. I used to do a monologue, and we have an interview, and then I do what I call part 3s, where we took phone calls, talked about the UFO stuff, all sorts of weird, wacky crap. Now I won't be doing the monologues anymore. So we're trying to hit some time marks here, and so that was the first thing to go. And I won't like talking to the people, and the people like talking to me. So we're concentrating on the guests. That's what we're doing. And also there will be no commercials tonight, but we'll start running them tomorrow. So yeah. So anyway, there's that. So without any further ado, Don Zorro, are you there?
You
Hello.
know, what would this show be without a few technical glitches?
Well, that's true. You're right. We're used to it.
Happy Conquistadors Day, baby.
Oh, should I say Happy Indigenous People Day to you? Should I say that? No.
If you want me to kick your ass, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
happy Columbus Day, otherwise known as the White People's Festival of Self-Hatred. Not what today is all about, right?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Hey, all right. So
this is the day when we brought civilization to the New World, along with a little slavery.
yeah,
Just to
you're right.
balance things
That's right.
out.
That's right.
We took a little gold, and they, and then we gave them smallpox.
So Don,
that sounds like an even up trade.
you probably know more about this than I do, but I'm under the impression now that Columbus's reputation is kind of on the mend. It's like he wasn't quite as an evil bastard as people made him out to be.
Well, I mean, first of all, a lot of these idiots are finally figuring out that Columbus never set foot on what became the continental United States.
Yeah.
I mean, he got so far as Puerto Rico, where my peeps actually met him, and they should. Do you know what they did? The Taino Indians one day when Columbus showed up, they were so nice. They were just kind of so knocked out by seeing all of these tall white people, because Taino Indians were like 4 foot nothing. I mean, they were really small. So to see these huge Spaniards, come on, they were very, very fascinated, and they even took them over to like the rivers where the gold was so plentiful that you could literally stand at a stream and watch it run by.
Really?
Oh no kidding. This is no kidding. And the Taino said, "Yeah, hey, look at this cool stuff we have," not kind of realizing that they're going to be enslaved for their troubles. But Columbus was actually kind of lucky that they ran into the Tainos and they didn't run into the Caribes, because the Caribe Indians who occupied the same island were like horrible. The Tainos hated them. They were afraid of them, and these are the ones that were very warring cannibals. They'd fight you and eat your heart out. So Columbus wound up finding the right ones there when he named the island San Juan Bautista, which is then where the name of the capital comes from. But I was thinking about all this stuff that kind of went back and forth on the mainland, and I was thinking, since we brought them horses here, you know what they gave us back? Tobacco. So by my reckoning, I think they've managed to kill more colonizers than we did Indians.
Well, it's kind of what I said about the Native American Indians here. These casinos, they got their revenge.
Right.
It's like,
I've sent a few of their kids to college, believe me.
Oh, yeah. I lived in a town that had one of these giant casinos, man. It's like in Red Wing, Minnesota, where Treasure Island is, every single person on Prairie Island gets man, woman, child gets $150,000 a year from a casino. There's kids going to high school in limos. I'm not kidding.
Yeah. No. I know that you are right. Isn't there something I had heard about when people in the tribes reach 18? Don't they get 64 grand or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
It's a pretty good amount of money, and it's like they're not directed as to what to do with it. They just said, okay, look, this is kind of our form of reparations. So here it is. I don't know. Maybe black folks have maybe they've got a point. I don't know.
In the meantime, I have relatives who are addicted to gambling. So there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so congratulations on this whole new endeavor you've got going on here. And I am ever so honored to be your first guest on this particular platform.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did it too. Thank you. I mean, I don't know if you're. Go ahead.
I'm just killing time until you come up with a topic to talk about, man.
I can't. I don't know if you heard my introduction, but I booked regulars all week this week just to get myself up to speed on what's going on here. I have a mixer that's like it's the most goddamn complicated computer ever. So, but it works. It's great. It gets the job done, and we're still on Rumble, and we still have a picture. So,
but it's just of you. Do you even have like a still of me? How about that?
No, it's not. No, at some point I will probably put static pictures of the people we're talking to on the feed, but I don't.
Well, you better. Otherwise, I'm going to vote for Kamala.
Yeah, no, you aren't.
Hey, by the way, how do you like the thought picture of Obama trying to shame black men into voting for this mixed race Indian woman?
Yeah.
Speaking of Indians, I just the sheer moxie of this guy doing that. And by the way, I just finished seeing clips of Harris talking to two different black podcasters, two men. And they made the mistake of not referring to certain people with the correct title. And so she sat there and kind of corrected them with the same energy of the I'm still speaking. I'm still speaking.
God.
That same energy. And these guys kind of just nervously laughed, but you could sort of tell that they were going, this bitch just corrected me on my podcast.
Yeah.
She got to talk to her, but she ain't getting my vote.
I had this on my notes here to mention this to you. I don't know if you saw this, but today she accused Trump of hiding from the media.
Oh, is that right?
Oh my God!
From them 100,000 people at a time.
Yeah, it's just you can't make this shit up.
I watched that little speech that she made about Indigenous Peoples Day, and her just saying how all they did was bring death, destruction, and bad news to North America, and I was just saying, I guess you really didn't want to be president anyway. Honestly,
No.
I can't even imagine the number of votes that she lost just on that single little speech.
It's like she can't do anything right. I find this kind of fascinating. It's like they can't do anything right.
Yeah, maybe she's scared of being president, and so she's just she and her folks are just finding every way to torpedo this thing that she could have had on her piggyback. But and Trump is just being Trump and doing what he does, and just kind of going along and doing it, and that's what you have to do. And meanwhile, J.D. Vance, oh my God, who has now coined the rallying cry for Republicans, which is, do you hear yourself?
Yeah, right.
This needs to be spoken at every possible opportunity. It needs to be something that comes up at rallies. It needs to be stuff that people need to use it as a signature on their email. I mean, just wherever possible, do you hear yourself? Because that is what we on the right have been saying now for years. For all of the insanity that comes out of the mouth and the pens of the left, you just sit back and you look at the TV and say, do you really hear yourself? Can you possibly justify this rubbish that just came out of your mouth?
Yeah.
So leave it to JD.
Right. No, it seems like this is catching up with them finally. After years and years of all this BS, they're finally, people are actually like finally waking up and saying, well, what's going on here isn't good. I don't know if you saw this.
Well,
This did not really make the big news, and it should have, but supposedly this last month, for the first time ever, now they've only been keeping statistics since 92, but everybody knows that before 92, before the contract in America was democratic for 80 years. For the first time ever, there's more registered Republicans in America than Democrats. I don't know if you saw that.
that's fabulous. No, I did not see that, but this brings to mind this guy, Scott Pressler. Are you hip to him?
Yeah. Say again.
Scott
What?
Pressler is that long-haired gay dude that has gone. It has made it his mission to just register as many Republicans
Oh yeah,
to
right.
vote as possible. That guy is my hero.
Yeah.
I wish they would make him the RNC chair, because I think he could get more done than any of the RNC chairs that I've ever seen. This guy is absolutely incredible. Where he gets his energy, I don't know. But I gotta say, he's got a great soul. He really believes in the cause. He is somebody who I think has got tremendous principles and morals, and more than anything else, he does it. He doesn't just sit here like you and me just talking about it. He goes out and sweats and grunts and gets stuff done. And I have tremendous admiration for Scott Pressler. His Twitter handle is The Persistence.
Yeah,
And
I've seen
people
that.
should check him out, because honestly,
No.
I really, really give it up for this guy.
I have. It took me a second to realize who you're talking about, but I do know who you're talking about. Well, speaking of energy, I don't know where Trump gets his. I mean, he's 77 years old. The guy's running around like a maniac. And also let me ask you about this. So I had a birthday last week, but you and I are only
happy birthday.
Thank you. But you and I are only like a month apart. Does that mean you have one coming up too?
No, I already had mine.
Oh, you had. So it's the other direction. Okay. All right. So you have September?
No, August.
August. Okay. Yeah. I knew it was really close. I know that. Yeah. Well, happy birthday to you too.
Well, thanks.
Well, this is the thing. The reason I brought this up. So Trump's 8 years older than us. And I don't know about you.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't keep up with that schedule. I couldn't at this point. 20 years ago I could have.
I mean, I think I would just be phenomenally bored. And that's the thing with him is that people like Trump believe so much in what they're doing that they don't get bored, because this is like eating a meal for them, or just breathing. It is what they do. This is why he never has notes for anything, and why he doesn't believe in preparing for stuff. And that last debate, it wasn't that he wasn't prepared. It was that Trump needs more than 2 minutes to do the kind of circling around that he does at rallies.
Yeah.
People have to understand that he does what he does, and he always starts off and gets to the point, includes a bunch of other stuff in it. But that will not work in a debate where you only have 2 minutes. The only time it works is when you have a doddering, feeble old fool like the guy that he first debated. And so he just sat back and just watched him implode. I also think he made another tactical mistake that J.D. Vance might have picked up on and realized, and that is, if you notice that in debate with Harris, he did not do what he was doing with Hillary, and that is, he looked directly at Hillary. So the audience was always looking at the side of his face while he was staring down Hillary. He did not do that with Kamala, which surprised the hell out of me. J.D. Vance, on the other hand, when he had his debate with Walz, he was staring him down. And I really think that part of the reason that Walz had such a bad opening was because Vance just kind of rattled him just by looking at him. That's his superpower.
Yeah, but Vance's intellect is so damn formidable. I could see being intimidated just being in his presence. I mean, I'd like, I'm an arrogant SOB, and I think I'm a smart guy, but I'm starting to realize there are people way smarter than me, and I think he's one of them.
Yeah, no, the guy's got a lot on the ball, but I think that the GOP needs to write an engraved thank you for this new motto that they can throw up whenever they want, which is, do you hear yourself? It's just such a wonder. I mean, you can probably think of right now like 100 instances where you could have said that to people in the middle of you wouldn't have had to argue anything else other than, do you hear yourself?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I really hope that gains some traction, man. For the next 3 weeks, that's all I want to hear from the right talking to the left.
And a lot of people really doubted Trump's pick of him.
I was one of them.
And
I was one of them. You know me. I wanted Tulsi. Something fierce.
Tulsi would have worked too. I mean, it's like not that she's a bad choice by any means.
Yeah, she would have done, I think, the same as Vance. Just a hell of a lot cuter.
Oh, that's God. Right. I know, much cute. I know Vance is a very handsome guy, but I'm not really into that sort of thing.
Don't tell Janine Pirro that I said that.
No, I won't.
She'll be all over me like white on rice. Oh, I said white on Columbus Day. Crap.
Janine Pirro is, I think, the most attractive 73-year-old woman I've ever seen.
She's 72 now.
Is she 72? Right. No, I think she's 73. I think she had a birthday.
Oh, stop, man. Come on.
No, I know it's terrible. We all get older. It's awful. And, I shouldn't have put you 5 minutes ago. I just lumped you in with me because we're the same age about having no energy. But no, then I just suddenly realized, physically, you're still a god. I'm not anymore. I was at one time, but you are.
Listen, man, I got to ride around the town on this horse with a sword and stuff. Yeah, I mean, the horse gets mad if I gain a couple of pounds.
I think the horse is made in Germany, right?
Yeah, right. Like it gives me a little side eye if I start getting a punch. So,
well, hey Don, let me run this by you. So, I made a few talking points here. Our friend Jazz Shaw wrote an article in Hot Air this weekend about the fact that and this is really interesting. Early voting in the United States is way down, and nobody seems to understand why.
But I understand why.
That's why I asked. Okay,
because the Democrats aren't voting.
Yeah, well, right now, Republicans typically do not vote early, and Democrats do. And Jazz says right now nobody's voting early. It's really, really the early voting is really low.
Well, see, Mrs. ZORRO and I are going to vote tomorrow.
Yeah, I voted last week, so
yeah.
Here in Minnesota,
it's going to pick up. It's going to pick up, and the ones that are going to be leading the charge will be Republicans, I think, countrywide. So I think they just don't want anything possible, to go wrong. They want to be able to get those votes in there and make lots of room for everybody else who's going to say, but we weren't able to vote because it was too crowded, because they didn't have water, because they weren't playing the right music for you while I was standing in line, whatever, So, this is going to be an interesting, very interesting time. A lot of conventional thoughts, I think, are just going to be absolutely smashed this time around. Irrespective of what the result is, I think this is going to be one of the most studied election cycles ever.
Well, I just between you and I and the 15 people listening to this, I have to say, I at this point I'd be shocked if she wins.
Well, I believe in jinxes, so I ain't gonna say shit.
Say again, what was that?
I said I believe in jinxes, so I'm just gonna not comment.
Yeah, I know. That's right. That's the terrible thing about what I'm doing here. I know that. It's like, but I just I mean she especially right now, she's starting to basically kind of smell like a loser. I mean, I hate to say it, but she is. You know.
Oh, she's got a stink on her. Everything that she does, all the interviews that she does. It's look at the thing with Harris is that everything about her gets old very quickly.
Yes.
The whiny tone when she starts to talk about the exceptions in abortions, this stupid laugh, the fumbling for the right word when she needs it, all that is getting very old very quickly. And people are just kind of sick of it. So nobody wants look at you know that things are bad for you when even Saturday Night Live decides, we need to start making fun of the Democrats, and
Yeah.
otherwise there's just not enough material out there. And they have this brilliant Kamala Harris clone in Maya Rudolph.
Oh my God,
who's
I know.
absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
And then Elmer Fudd as as the vice president. Oh, speaking of Elmer Fudd, did you see him not able to load his rifle?
Oh, it was so embarrassing. It's just so embarrassing. I mean, why do politicians do this? Just stop it. If you're not good at something, just don't go there. It's
Okay.
No one's going to hold it against you. Yeah.
You're old enough to you had to have thought of Dukakis in the tank.
Yeah, of course, right. That's right.
This is exactly that same moment. Even though obviously it's vice president versus president, but it's still this was his Dukakis in the tank moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But nobody makes you do this stuff. I mean, you don't have to do it. It's like or like John Kerry's sailboarding or whatever the hell it was. It's like it's like just stop it.
Yes.
I mean, it's like you look like a fool.
In other words, let's see. Maybe what we need is a candidate who is real and doesn't make funny voices and just is who he is. Gee, I wonder who that is, Jim. Huh?
Well, I was going to say as a female, that'd be Tulsi. She's a surfer and she really surfs too. That's not bullshit.
She really surfs and she looks good when she surfs too.
I know, in a one piece, she looks fantastic. It's
stop. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So now I don't know if you saw this Trump biopic. The Apprentice opened this weekend.
No, I did
you
not
didn't
see it.
The reason you didn't know this is because you haven't heard of it, because it completely, utterly tanked. Totally. I mean, it was
nobody was interested in. So what is this now? So somebody made a biopic about Trump.
Yeah, it's called The Apprentice, and it's about Trump's life in the 70s and 80s. It's not recent. It's when he was young. So,
that would have to be a fairly good. I mean, I'd have to be pretty complimentary one, because he was totally in his stride then.
Well, it isn't, apparently. It's not. But the amazing thing is it opened on 1,700 screens. 1,700. Did you hear me? 1,700 screens.
Okay.
And it made $1.5 million, which means that for every showing
that paid for the catering.
That's right. That's correct. It completely, utterly tanked. Totally. It's like I find this unbelievable. And then I mean, you've been in the entertainment business in the past. You understand how this works. Nobody's going to the movies anymore, and I think it's because most of the movies suck.
Well, you know what the last movie I saw was?
What?
Am I a Racist?
Was it good?
It was freaking hilarious.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
Absolutely hilarious. No, Walsh has gotten very good at this sort of thing. Just by being himself, he's really funny.
I always really want
people, the things he gets, the things he gets these people to do just by letting them be themselves. Sensing a common thread here,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's worth it. Go see it.
Did you see What Is a Woman?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
I wanted to see that, because that's like such a. I mean, you base 90 minutes around one single question, and people, they can't. I saw some of the clips. They can't answer. It's like unbelievable.
No, you absolutely. I mean, I saw it Daily Wire was streaming it, and so I saw it because they were streaming it, and it was excellent. By the way, you know what else is excellent? Is that movie that Ben Shapiro produced, the Run Hide Fight.
Oh yeah, you saw that
Also
too?
very good. Oh yes, I did. I try to support these movies and just kind of send a little message to Hollywood that we're not about all of this stuff. They're ruining Star Wars even more now. The what do you call the soldiers in white? What do you call those guys?
The stormtroopers.
The stormtroopers
Yeah,
are now non-binary.
right. I know, that's great. Isn't that fantastic?
Oh, that makes me just want to run out and put on my Darth Vader mask.
like we needed that. Who needed that? It's like,
No, nobody.
hey, I got another
at all.
thing I clipped out of the news. Speaking of that too,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Oregon, the Department of Forestry of the Oregon state government, one of the DEI human resources people had her boss suspended because he was picking prospective employees by ability rather than gender identity. So he's not fired, but he's not getting paid. He got sent home for the time being.
Well, I hope that somebody gave him a serious talking to. Ability. What the hell is ability?
I know.
Such a subjective thing. I mean, okay, somebody go ahead and does a good job. Define good.
Yeah,
Define
right.
job. Define.
And they had a picture in the article of this woman who turned him in. And I hate to say this, but it's really become true. Why has extremely obese women with purple hair become a stereotype?
Okay. So see, I almost wish you hadn't told me, because not knowing anything about this story, I was going to supply the description for you, and bingo, you literally took the words out of my mouth.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that.
Okay, mission accomplished. Mission accomplished, because I would have said exactly what you did. Yep. And let me see, was there the requisite nose ring as well?
Say again, what?
What was there the requisite nose ring as well?
I don't remember that. All I remember is the short purple hair and the fact that she was really fat. It's like, and also there's another thing too. And I'm, people who haven't seen you, and of course because your occupation, we kind of shield your identity. You're in very, very good shape. You're in extremely good shape. I am not in such good shape, but I'm still not really a tutty either. But what people trying to normalize obesity, this is wrong.
No, this is a very bad. Well, look at all the things that the left tries to normalize that wasn't heretofore normal. I mean, whether it was boys being able to be girls and girls being able to be boys, whether suddenly after years of Jack LaLanne and JFK's fitness initiative and all that, suddenly celebrate your waist, folks. Celebrate your gut.
Yeah.
All these things that used. I mean, look, even on more serious note, look at one of the things that has killed the Black community is something that didn't used to be celebrated, and that was children out of wedlock. And look at where that has absolutely destroyed the nuclear family in the urban Black communities.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what the left does. Understand that the left is about destruction. The left is about making anything that is beautiful ugly, because the left in and of itself is quite ugly. Now, notice I'm talking about the left. I'm not talking about liberal thought. I'm talking about the left, the wellspring of socialism and communism. This is all based on things being ugly, that somehow in our equality, our ugliness will be celebrated as it is revealed. So this doesn't surprise me one bit, and this is why we have reached now this point of saturation where people are sick of it.
Yeah.
They're absolutely sick of everything that the left represents now. And
Right.
this is what the Democrats are now having to come to grips with.
Yeah, and I predicted this before, and especially with this news this week that Republicans have outpaced Democrats as far as registrations. I think that we're going to see like a 20 to 40 year ride of Republicanism, the same way we had Democratic people 30 years ago, where there's about a 40-year stretch there where you basically couldn't get elected unless you were a Democrat. I think the
Do you
same.
realize that Kamala Harris has literally half as much support as Obama did with the black community?
Yes, right. That's correct.
Half, half,
Yeah.
half. What did I say 2 years ago on the Conch show? When we were doing it, I said there is something brewing in the black community and the Latino community. And if this thing comes to the kind of fruition that I'm thinking about, this could have serious ramifications for this election. And bingo, it is happening. And it is happening not only in a very kind of like they're just having to give it up. No, they're angry. Black men, Latino men are angry.
Yeah, they
And
are.
by the way, Latina women, Latinas are also not just, saying no, they're angry. So
Well,
this
I'm
little boost that I predicted, I think is going to come true.
I'm going to say something positive about your ethnicity here, and that is
Thank you.
unlike straight white women who, for some reason, just like they're just kind of like crazy. Of the Latino women seem to have some common sense. Am I right
Well,
about
it
that?
goes.
Or
Yes, well, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. If you, it usually comes with a lot of like serious rage, but
well, yeah.
I don't know. But if you want to go ahead and make the leap that having really nice butts goes along with having good common sense, I'll go with that.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, Don, we're done. So,
All right.
yeah, I
All
really
right.
appreciate this a lot. Thank you. I
The
mean,
fork has been stuck in me, eh?
yeah. What was that?
The fork has been stuck in me.
That's yes, yes, it has. Yes, yes. So we'll talk to you in a couple weeks. I mean, we're gonna have we'll have the regular panel on for the at the end of the month, and I'm looking forward to seeing you and especially
Yeah, it'll be just before the election.
yeah, that's right.
Will it be the last time we get together before the election?
I guess it will. I never thought about that, but you're right.
Ooh, boy.
You're right.
Okay, I'll be ready.
Hey, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it a lot. I love talking to you.
This is
You
the
know
gas. Congratulations, and to everybody else, happy Columbus Day.
that. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Don. We'll see you.
All
Take
right.
care.
Be
Bye
good.
bye.
Bye.
That's Don Zorro, intelligence operative and lover of women. Now, because of what Don does for a living, we can't we can't really talk too much about his identity. So if you watch um the month in review show in the past, and also I should tell you this. So most of our guests are going to come on now via phone, but if we have more than two people, we're gonna have the dynamic duo on Wednesday and the month in review panel in a couple weeks. They're on the last Monday of every month. We're gonna do that. Um, they will be on the video. We will do that on the video because I think it helps when um, uh, more than one person. I think it helps for people to see each other. I think that's the reason. The sound won't be quite as good, but if I get four people on a telephone call here, it wouldn't be very good anyway. So 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 we don't Don appears with a mask on. We joke about it. About Don Zorro, but he does, and if there's a reason. So he is, yes, he is a part of the intelligence community, and we can't reveal his identity. And but girls like him. All right. That's our theme music in part 2, which used to be part 3. You can call me up now, 563-999-3435. Love to talk to you. I got a few things here. First of all, did you guys see this? This is really amazing. This is really freaking amazing. So, SpaceX landed the booster from the Falcon Heavy rocket, and they landed it like in this tower, like this clip. Somebody said described this as sending a rocket off into space and bringing it back and then parallel parking it. I don't understand. I can't wrap my mind around how it's like a 3-point shot in basketball, except the net is even smaller. It's like they stuck this thing in this thing that wasn't much wider than the booster itself. They landed it. And it's I can't, it's mind-boggling to me. I can't wrap my mind around how they did this, but they did it. They did it on the first try too. Now, you have to understand, NASA doesn't launch people into space anymore. They hire SpaceX to do it. And SpaceX their goal last calendar year, 2023, was to do 150 launches. They did 149. They missed their goal by one. So, but right now, NASA is not even set up to launch people into space. So they hire SpaceX. Now, what happened in this last week is that I think it's Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, if am I right about that? They wanted to get a clearance from the local county to launch 50 space flights. And believe it or not, the county said no. This is unbelievable. They did. They said no because they found out SpaceX was going to do it, and they don't like Elon Musk's politics. So they declined. They refused the license for them to do it. I'm starting to realize, and this is I think David Strom wrote about this in Hot Air today. You know, he's one of our regulars on here, about the fact that they're starting to treat, they being the left, the Democrats are starting to treat Musk basically the same way they've been treating Trump. You can't have somebody too successful. You're too brilliant, you know. And Strom makes the argument, and he's absolutely right, that at this point in history, Elon Musk is probably the single most consequential person on the planet in terms of what he's done. He made electric cars. People said it couldn't be done. Not only did he do it, but they're fantastic vehicles. Now, granted, not everybody wants one for all sorts of reasons, but they're fantastic vehicles. They're extremely safe. Now, this last week, he said they're finally going to release truly self-driving cars. Don't even have a steering wheel. You get in, you tell the car where you want to go, and it goes. You know, they want to sell them initially as taxis, but he said the price is going to be under $30,000, which means they're going to sell a lot. Hell, I'd buy one. You know, I don't want to drive. I want to sleep. And people say, well, you can't trust the self-driving mechanism. Here's the deal. If you can't trust if you think you're better than the self-driving mechanism, you're nuts. That's what I think. Now, the self-driving mechanism, yeah, might get in an accident, but you might too. You know, now I know about you. I've been in a few, you know, so I don't think I'm any better driver than the computer is. I don't. You know, I may not be worse, but I'm not any better. That's my personal thing there. I'm sticking to it. Pulp Fiction, the movie, turned 30 this month. They had a huge reunion, the cast did, and Quentin Tarantino. It's one of my top 5 favorite movies ever. Some writer on the New York Post compared it to, oh, Jesus, I'm not going to screw this up. That it's a cross between, he said it's a cross between Seinfeld and Breaking Bad. You're right. That's exactly what it is. He's absolutely correct. You know, it's fantastic. A fantastic movie. You know, I had lunch with not lunch, dinner. I had dinner with a bunch of friends on Saturday night, and they're all movie buffs, and we were talking about, yeah, Jim, you lose your train of thought. That's a really good idea. What we were talking about, oh God. Oh, Chinatown. That's what we're talking about. Now, Chinatown might be my all-time favorite movie. And my friend Dan, he agreed with me. There was a sequel to Chinatown called The Two Jakes, and was not very well received and didn't do well. I think it's just as good as the movie as the original is. And Dan thought the same thing. And you should see that. There was supposed to be a trilogy. There was supposed to be 3 movies. They planned them out uh, in advance. They were set 11 years apart, 1937, 1948, 1959, and they were about, respectively, water, land, and oil. That's what they were about. That was the idea. And of course, Chinatown is about water. That is not. It's a fictionalization of the real events of how they got water from the Owens Valley to the city of Los Angeles, which is in a freaking desert. I mean, why do we do this? It's like Phoenix. Why is there a city there? It's one of the driest places on the planet, and in the summer it gets 124 degrees regularly. Why is there a city there? They use air conditioning in Phoenix the same way we use indoor heating here in Minneapolis, here in Minnesota. Because yeah, what you've heard is true. It's really freaking cold here in the winter, really cold. Now summers, this is the thing. It's not an ice box all the time. 8 months of the year, it's very nice here, and we have summers are quite hot. We regularly get to 90 degrees. That's not a big deal. But yes, in the winter it gets really, really cold. But in Phoenix, it's the opposite. I don't understand why would you build a city there? They built a city in Los Angeles because, well, there was some water. The Los Angeles River runs through Los Angeles, but the problem with the Los Angeles River, it's basically a creek. If you ever seen it, I mean, they have um, basically industrialized it now, so that it's in a giant concrete trench for like 50 miles. But there was some water there. But the thing is, yeah, there's a lot of water if you have 10,000 people in your town. If you have 2 million people, there's no water. So they had to end up they brought it in from the Owens Valley. And in the process, they shut down and bankrupt a whole bunch of farmers there. So, at any rate, uh, Chinatown is a fictionalization of that story. And the second movie, the Two Jakes, is about selling is land development, land speculation. That's what it's about. And the third one was supposed to be about automobiles and gasoline. So, because I don't know if you guys know this, and this is actually, it didn't really happen in LA, but it did happen here in Minneapolis. Matter of fact, this is the only place it really did happen where here in Minneapolis, General Motors basically clandestinely bought the city transit system and shut it down so that people would buy cars. Now, people thought that happened in LA, but it really didn't. But it appeared to, the same thing. And then this is the late 1950s. Minneapolis had one of the best streetcar systems in the world, and they shut it down. They just closed it up because they wanted to force people to buy cars. That's not what happened in LA, but it looked like it did. So that's what the third movie was going to be about. And like my friend Dan said, we'll never know because you can't have anybody play Jake Gittes other than Jack Nicholson, and he's too old now. He can't do it. And finally, this is I can't now. I don't know where this happened. I can't remember where this happened. So a car got pulled over on some freeway somewhere. Hold on, just a second. No, I can't click through here. I can't. Uh, the, and they're looking around the car. The police are looking around the car because they suspect these guys are drug dealing. And there's a giant bag that's labeled, has it written on the top in front of it, definitely not a bag full of drugs. And guess what? It was a bag full of drugs. And so, what do you think you're accomplishing here, guy, buddy? It's like, unbelievable. Well, they got hauled off to jail. And people don't always get hauled off to jail for doing that anymore. So that's kind of amazing. All right, we're going to can this for this evening. I want to thank you guys for listening and watching. Hi, I'm waving at the camera. Tomorrow night, Tim Conaway, he has stories, man. So, Tim was, and this is, you may think I'm making this up, but I'm not. Tim was the editor, the executive editor, the head of Hustler magazine in the 80s and 90s for 15 years at the height of its popularity. And we tease him mercilessly about it because, yes, he got to pick the pictures for the Beaver Hunt. That's what he did. So he's been around the block a few times. And so we always love talking to him. Fabulous stories. So he's tomorrow night. And Jennifer Oliver O'Connell and Jeff Meyer will be here on Wednesday night. And my mother, 100 years old, on the phone. I tried to get, my mother's birthday was in July. I tried to get her on, but we were doing video then. And I could, I couldn't. My relatives can't be bothered to put her in front of a video webcam, so whatever. But now we're gonna do it, talk to her on the phone, and she can do that. So, uh, yeah. So that's on Thursday. She has some stories too. She lived during the Second World War. Um, she hid in the back of a false wall in the back of a closet for 3 months from the Nazis. Yeah, shit happens, man. And don't forget that. Okay. So I want to thank you folks for listening and watching very much. Good night, Esperanza. Good night, Uncle Donnie. And good night to you, wherever you are. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care, everyone.